always had towards Ginny that David Yates and I always played on was this idea that she was this warrior.
Bonnie Wright may not have had a lot of speaking time in Harry Potter, but she was always there. So naturally, she's incredibly involved. We're going behind the set of the franchise to see what she was up to. Check it out.
You know, we want to sort of do as much justice to the character as possible.
Number 1. We'd be claustrophobic if we were stuck in a room full of teenagers, too. Bonnie loved filming the double scenes in the Room of Requirements. Despite the claustrophobia, she thinks that was part of the reason for requirements. Despite the claustrophobia she was experiencing. She loved it, but near the end is when she started to find there was too many people in the room. But she thinks that was part of the reason she liked it, was it was a room filled with teenagers just being annoying teenagers. Number 2. This should be a tender moment, but it just feels super awkward.
You just hold him because he needs to be held there.
The director seems to love this shot, but we're not going to lie. The internet finds it just a little bit awkward, and it looks like Bonnie Wright finds it awkward too. But hey, how are you supposed to comfort somebody in this situation? We think it works just fine in its cringiness, thank you. Number 3. Bro-zoned. The only zone worse than the friend zone. Bonnie Wright's friends actually knew about the shared kiss between Ginny and Harry Potter before she ever did. How'd they figure that out? Well, the books, of course. Her friends had a bit more free time than she did to get caught up on them. Approaching the kiss was way more daunting for her than actually doing the scene, though.
It was actually easier than I realised as it went on.
And Daniel Radcliffe found it just a bit odd, since he knew Bonnie since she was like 9 3/4 and Dan was 11. Right? Yeah, that's so weird. It may not sound like a big age gap, but in those formative years, it definitely is. It's like being with a sort of brother or sister. But the whole thing was very professional. After conversations with David Yates and rehearsing with Daniel, it wasn't really awkward at all. And a real off-screen friendship really helped the romance along. She'd said it makes the on-screen relationship make more sense. This idea that we've known each other and, in a sense, grown up together off-screen as well as on. It was quite weird for Bonnie slowly growing into the idea of Ginny and Harry being together, because her first exposure to it was Harry was more a close friend of the family,
Just his best friend's little sister, and that was the relationship.
but the relationship made a lot of
New from the Lindt Master Chocolatier. Made to melt you. Lindor milk salt.
but the relationship made a
Alright, prisoners, it's time to go back to the cells. I repeat, alright, prisoners, it's time to go back to the cells. Have a great night, prisoners. Whatever. My cell. Here. Good morning, prisoners. It's your time. Let me repeat again. Good morning, prisoners. It's your time. And yes, as you can see, they took everything away from me. Besides this, and my phone, of course. They took away my magic. They will give it back when my time is up here. So yeah, basically, you know, they'll give it up when my time is up in the prison. It's till here. Press play. Look at this. It's a big prison. Press play for
she believes
magical
Ginny
things
represents
like
safeness,
me.
belonging, and understanding, and that's why Harry's drawn to her.
She's smart, funny, attractive. Attractive? You know, she's got nice skin.
Number 4. The best moment in the movie. Change our mind. Turns out, Bonnie Wright doesn't contain the same kind of crowd silence and yell that the movie made it seem, because it definitely took a little more than a yell to get the crowd silenced.
Shut it!
These Quidditch players needed training. No muttering aloud. Instant pause.
Everyone, please, quiet, please.
Shut it!
Also, we love how take-charge Ginny is in this moment. She most definitely gets it from her mom. Number 5. Growing up, we wanted the Weasleys to be our parents too. But then we remember how Molly Weasley sent that Howler card to Ron, and we think twice about it. The family dynamic is Bonnie Wright's favorite part of the franchise. Understandable, since it is the part she's most involved in. And Julie Walters took the young Bonnie Wright under her wing from day one.
Oh, and Ginny, dear, congratulations on making Gryffindor.
Always saying things with every film like, oh, you were this tall and you were this small. Which, let's be real, we've all been there. It isn't far off from what an aunt or a family friend would say, huh? And that's not all. To understand who's playing her mother figure, she went ahead and watched a lot of the movies Julie Walters was in, which she ended up really intimidated by her on-screen mom after that. Ignorance is bliss in this situation. Number 6. Divine intervention took place here. Bonnie's fondest memory filming the franchise was actually her first day. Being 9 3/4 years old, stood at platform 9 3/4. She remembers not having any lines in the scene, and at the last minute being given just a little one to say.
Good luck.
I felt like I didn't get too nervous because it was just happening in that moment. If Ginny realized she was talking to Harry Potter, then she might have fainted. Number 7. The franchise might have gone full circle, but it feels like Ginny had less to do at the end than at the beginning. They definitely should have let her say good luck again. Seriously, unlike her first scene, she didn't get any lines for her last one. But she did take on the role of the Weasley Mama, holding Lily Potter just as Molly Weasley held her, having the entire series come full circle, which she found kind of surreal. By the way, the actor who played her daughter is in her 20s now. Moving on for Bonnie and some of the rest of the cast was a mixed bag of emotions. It meant more free time during the summer, but it also meant not seeing each other all the time. She considered getting a tattoo with a few of her fellow co-stars, including Tom Felton, but the idea just fizzled away over time. Hey, maybe it's not too late. Reunion tattoo, anyone? Number 8. Perhaps they both chugged a bit of the love potion Amortentia. Bonnie Wright and a young Grindelwald, Jamie Campbell Bower, were getting cozy during the filming of Deathly Hallows Part 1. In fact, it's where they met. Within a year of it, they were engaged, but by the time 2012 came around, they called off their engagement, saying that their parting was amicable. That's pretty fair. It happened so fast, and they were so young and of a different time period. We mean their movie personas. Did you know Jamie is the only one to have reprised his role in the Fantastic Beasts series? Number 9. This scene doesn't look all that safe to us. If you look closely, you can spot that little flame beneath the actors' feet as they hop over them and run. She tells all about her feelings about Ginny being fearless in this moment, just chasing after Harry into the reeds.
And she just runs straight after him, so it shows a sense of sort of bravery.
Well, Ginny isn't the only fearless one. So is Bonnie. Think about it. What would you say if somebody told you they needed you to jump over flames? We'd probably quote the Health and Safety Act. Number 10. Stalkery much? Kidding, it comes with the territory of being a Gryffindor, surrounded by other Gryffindors.
There's no moment for them to really connect.
This just goes to emphasize our point. Ginny's always around in the movies, always doing things, always at the Gryffindor table eating with the rest of her house. Or in this moment, fighting to save it.
They pass each other in the battle and they sort of have different looks towards each other which tell a lot.
All they get is a few glances that speak 1,000 words. Number 11. Much like the Weasleys, Bonnie's family had her back. Bonnie's older brother Lewis, who was reading the Harry Potter books, said that his sister reminded him of Ginny. So she read the first one, fell in love, and then begged her mom Sheila to get her an audition. She had never even considered acting before this moment, but given her family owned a jeweler's, she was already surrounded by artist types growing up, and it was a natural fit for her. Number 12. Don't neglect the flirting. Seriously, those who didn't read the books definitely thought Hermione and Harry were going to end up together. Bonnie would have loved to see more of the relationship building between Ginny and Harry in the movie.
I can stay hidden up here too if you like.
She doesn't have any specific moments from the book she'd like to have included, but she just wishes there was a bit more nuance to the whole thing. What? You mean this isn't nuance? Bonnie Wright was always there. From the time Ginny got to Hogwarts, she was in so many scenes and yet didn't say a word, or if she did speak, spoke very little. Even still, she was a huge part of the franchise. Ginny did marry our titular hero, after all. Are there any moments from the books you wish were included in the movie? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Any one of you could be the murderer.
Any one of us can stand.
were cast in Harry Potter as a preteen, odds are you got to use your own voice.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
But the adult cast got to play all of the creepy villain characters and weird comedic types. We're taking a look at the actors who really put a lot of work into their characters and didn't really sound like themselves by the end.
You like to cover up, and I said you're completely right.
I'm afraid Voldemort isn't you, darling. Ralph Fiennes took inspiration from his nephew, who played a young Voldemort. And no, we aren't talking about Christian Coulson, who played Tom Riddle in Chamber of Secrets. We're talking Half-Blood Prince Tom, played by Hero Fiennes.
He has such a wonderful quality of a boy's loneliness because the world has rejected him.
That snake-like whisper Fiennes brings to the character obviously isn't how he talks normally.
You're a fool, Harry Potter, and you will lose.
If he actually spoke like that, he probably never would have gotten very far as an actor, as it's an intimidating enough persona to scare the Gryffindor out of Daniel Radcliffe. But the voice evolves throughout the series. When Voldemort first receives his body in Goblet of Fire, he sounds like a sick and elderly man.
13 years it's been.
But as the character grows stronger, so does his voice.
Severus, I was beginning to worry you had lost your way.
And you would know Voldy is just one character Ralph Fiennes can play, if you'd ever seen Grand Budapest Hotel, which you totally should.
How's that supposed to make me feel?
Wait, what in the Babu frick? She played Myrtle in her 30s? You heard that right. Myrtle was played by established voice actor Shirley Henderson, who has since played the Lil Babu in The Rise of Skywalker. Which do you think de-aged her more, the translucent ghost thing or the bangs? Because bangs were definitely the de-aging tech of the time. Maybe it was the fact she was 5'0", or maybe...
Alright, prisoners, it's time to go back to your cells. I repeat, it's time to go back to your cells. Let me repeat again. It's time to go back to your cells. Go back to my cell area, go upstairs, then yeah, head to bed, wake up in the morning, another day here. Hey, yeah, what's up? You're staying here for another 8 days. Why is that? I don't know, so if I did, I would tell you. The court, not the court, the magic of ministry decides who they are, you know. They are the ones who's in charge. We just follow their wheels. If I did know, I would tell you, but I don't know. Isaac. Oh good. Great. Wonder how come they want me to stay here another 8 days? Can they do that? I guess they are in charge of... We have the government, but they are the ones who control the criminals. Like, sentence them, they control, you know what I mean. Good morning, prisoners. It's your time. Good morning, prisoners. It's your time. Let me repeat again. Good morning, prisoners. It's your time. Have a great day. Whatever. My ass. What is this? Okay, the back area with the poison. Let's chill. Let's not chill. Chill here. Press play.
It was just the squeaky voice.
And it fell through the top of my head.
And here's the real her when you can't see right through her.
A bit of both. I mean, it's exciting, but it's also a bit uncomfortable at the same time.
If we could play any role in the franchise, it would definitely be Bellatrix. Helena Bonham Carter definitely had the most memorable role in the series. A lot of Bellatrix's character came from Helena's strong relationship with the director, who allowed her to play and explore on set.
Who knows how to play? Itchy, bitty, baby.
And the rest of the tone of voice came from the fake teeth she used. Which, by the way, she was the one who asked for the teeth of them after filming wrapped.
Well, she's just like this mad child.
Which is why she doesn't brush her teeth. But there you have it. Helena is much more laid back than Bellatrix in real life.
Everybody seems to make us more interesting than we actually are.
We are living for Jason Isaacs' catty voice theft. The inspiration Jason had for Lucius Malfoy's voice came from two different places. It came from a teacher at his drama school. That teacher didn't give him any good acting tips. No, actually, the two quite disliked each other, so Jason just stole his voice. And then he combined it with that of a famous art critic using a fabricated upper-class British accent.
That is my true mask.
No one was confident that this voice would win over audiences, but Jason was, and it paid off. Listen to how quickly he can just jump into character.
I turned to Daniel and I said, so Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day.
Why so serious? Sorry, that pun was too easy. Given how down-to-earth Sirius Black really is later on in the series, it's jarring to watch his performance when he was fresh out of Azkaban.
I can't explain any of that. It's just the way it's worked.
Yeah, this is the prison
Amazing
here.
to think that man created this character.
Azkaban.
Why don't you run along and play with your chemistry set?
For Gary Oldman, he approaches his characters from one of two places.
It's normally a vocal thing or a physical thing.
Rather than just letting it be purely intellectual. It's been years since your last nightmare about Dolores Umbridge. 2 years before her casting, a friend of Imelda's read Harry Potter and then said she'd be perfect for the part. She read it and thought, small, squat, ugly, toad-like woman? Thanks a lot. We wouldn't describe her voice as toad-like, more like cookies scratching against a chalkboard. And not like good cookies, but like raisin cookies. In case you don't remember it and need more nightmare fuel, here's your reminder.
There is nothing out there, dear. Who do you imagine wants to attack children like yourself?
Well, Imelda Staunton speaks just an octave or so lower.
It's not really legal, but it's necessary. I think that sums her up.
It's also important to see her out of costume.
Well, people, they do go, oh, are you? And I go, step away, step away.
Raise your hand if you didn't realize Emma Thompson played Sybil Trelawney. Between the hair, the glasses, the costume, the behavior, and, of course, the voice. We understand if you didn't recognize her.
Together we shall cast ourselves into the future.
Bet you would love to cast yourself into the past to relay this information to a younger you, huh?
I'm not really in it enough to impress them.
Okay, good, then we're off the hook. We didn't know it was her. If you play this video at 1.25 speed, Luna will sound like Ivana. There's nothing exceptionally ordinary about Ivana Lynch. She still has that whimsical quality when she speaks. The biggest difference really has to be the pace. Ivana's spending just a little less time in the clouds or looking at thestrals than Luna.
I wish I felt this relaxed when I was younger, actually.
Wait, more relaxed than you were playing Luna? Did we hear that right?
No, but I've done several toes. How different are they, really?
Maybe in the world of Harry Potter, noses and toes are not so different, but in the doctor's office, we bet they're very different. Now for our favorite grumbly caretaker. Filch was a fun one for David Bradley. He didn't talk much, but he was a huge part of the series. Always there, always watching, always grumbling and groaning. But still finding small moments of happiness when Harry would find himself in a pickle.
Oh dear, they are in trouble.
The secret to getting the voice of the character is the false teeth.
All I've got to do is just pop these in and it's an instant filch.
Timothy played a character that couldn't be farther from himself. There's something jarring about comparing Timothy Spall and his character Peter Pettigrew, because he really gives off politician vibes.
I think, are we going to see the birth of a religion? Are we, Harry Potter?
Actually, we meant that Pettigrew gave off
Alright,
the vibes.
prisoners, it's time to go back to your cells. I repeat, It's time to go back to your cells. I repeat, time to go back to your cells. Great. Just great. Another day here in this pen. I wonder when is my mum is gonna be on duty. When? Head to bed. Good morning, prisoners, it's your time. I repeat, good morning, prisoners, it's your time. Let me repeat again. Good morning, prisoners, it's your time. Have a great day here. Great. Let's chill. Chill here. Press play. Have a joint for the day.
Yeah, that's better. In all seriousness, Timothy put a lot of work into the role, and a lot of his inspiration came from Pettigrew's 12 years of living as Scabbers the Rat. The wizarding world of Harry Potter truly lends itself.
We're hopping on the train to everything in the
Let's
Harry
have another
Potter books
joint.
that couldn't all be included in the films, and neither could some of the other bold choices of our favorite magical characters. Let's take a look at some of the best and most heart-wrenching deleted scenes that should have made it in the final cut. Number 1. Harry has been on the case of Voldemort since the very beginning, at least in the deleted scene scenario.
I knew the name sounded familiar. I read it on the train that day.
A young Potter becomes curious about the Sorcerer's Stone and the mysteries behind it. All of his assumptions, as we know now, were very accurate in this deleted scene. The interesting exchange between Harry and his friends may have just accelerated his journey to understanding a little too quickly for filmmakers to keep this scene in, and maybe would have helped us understand Neville's involvement with putting a stop to his friend's dangerous endeavors.
Trificus Totalis.
Huh.
Number 2. Another way for Potter to feel like he's losing it is for his classmates to think he's one of the Dark Wizards. We could see why the scene wasn't added. The length of it was just too long, and the film really did a good job in showing the horrible position he was in. But wouldn't it have been interesting for us to see this for the first time? Throwing us into a whirlwind of possibility as to if Harry was really attacking.
Let's pause it. It's time to go to bed, prisoners. It's bedtime. I repeat, it's bedtime, prisoners. Have a great night. Yeah, buddy. It's another day in here. I wonder when is my mum is gonna be on the duty here. Hopefully it will be soon. Again, hopefully. Good morning, prisoners. Today or tomorrow, I'm going home and another officer is coming here. So, we'll see you whenever I see you, I guess. Tomorrow or today. Cool. So that must be my mum. Hell yeah. Amy, her name is. She is 20. Zillion. She is 20. She's 20 zillion. She's 27 years. Fuck, I can't speak today. She is 27 zillion years old. That's in the middle of billion and a million.
The other students.
Let's have a joint.
The beginning movies played a little innocently overall,
And a
this
gazillion?
started the mature
You're really old. like your senior, basically. Your senior, that's how old Kazillion, you know.
Nature of the
Like
series earlier than we
Hagrid,
got
no,
to
not
experience
Hagrid,
seeing. Number
but
3.
Dumbledore. Like him, that old Kazillion.
Another deleted scene from the Chamber of Secrets definitely would have rushed things a little earlier
That's
on.
our
Harry
version of
definitely was
old.
onto the whole Horcrux thing.
We live more than humans.
Filmmakers were so careful not to give away any hints to the folks who didn't read the books. That is why they were so careful when it came time to talk about Horcruxes. We did get a touch of it in the earlier films, but this deleted scene would have explained a lot of who Tom Riddle was, and why his diary was so significant.
Hang on. I know that name.
Number 4. The Gryffindor house was under attack in Prisoner of Azkaban, or that's what Ron thinks.
That is preposterous, Weasley.
This take was actually super informative surrounding the conflict of Sirius Black, and fills in some of the blanks regarding his character. Ron witnessed Sirius break into the Gryffindor common room and try to stab him, though probably a conversation that was too serious for all the actors to be in pajamas.
When frequent heartburn ruins your dinner plans, Nexium 24-hour can help.
All right, mine's charged up.
I like the mine takes long. Gives me time to think.
I'll be at the pool.
And try to stab him, though probably a conversation that was too serious for all the actors to be in pajamas. Number 5. Severus Snape was always a little fishy to us in the beginning, but this deleted scene would have really made us wonder where his allegiance lied.
You don't fool me, Severus.
As shady as Igor Karkaroff was in Goblet of Fire, he did usher in a dark hint into Voldemort's return. He confronts Snape as the professor exposes the snogging teenagers in the carriages, but what they both don't realize is Harry is listening.
It's happening again, like before.
We think this scene would have unlocked Snape's plan a little too quickly, rather than the audience having the fun of figuring out his mysterious intentions throughout the whole series. It's always fun seeing Snape a little intimidated and ruining the nights of some students.
10 points from Hufflepuff for Fawcett.
Number 6. This seemed like a super humorous opportunity thrown out because of the nature of the film, with Professor Trelawney acting a fool in the Order of the Phoenix with Dumbledore. And Harry has some very compelling statements as to why Draco vanishes from the Marauders map. He even alludes to Draco using the Vanishing Cabinet at Borgin and Burke's to transport in and out of the castle.
Alright, prisoners, it's bedtime. She's not coming until tomorrow, so you got me until then. I repeat, it's bedtime. I repeat again, it's bedtime. Have a great night. She's coming tomorrow. Hell yeah. This is my chance now. Tomorrow. Good morning, prisoners. I repeat, good morning, prisoners. Have a great day. Hey, Sam. Hey, Mom. Can I ask you a question? What's up? Can we fucking chill? Sure. Cool. I'll meet you out in the yard. Got it, Mom. Good buddy. This the way? No, this is not the way. This way, is this way the way, cunt? Please tell me this is the fucking way, dog. Please tell me. Yes, it is. Cool. Let's chill. Let's chill here. Push play.
What if there are 2 Vanishing Cabinets?
Maybe things would have veered off the path a little, and we'd get to see a
Have
fight
a joint
with
for
the 3
die.
than any other character. This cut was short, but provided us a look into his internal monologue of hesitation and fear of what he has to do. Destroying your best friend and turning those you love against you for the greater good is not something one can just toughen up and do. We got to see how it really affected him, and the superior actor that Alan Rickman was made the scene even harder to watch. You can see the sadness in his eyes, and possibly an alternative motive behind what he was about to do. Like we said before, there were a lot of deleted moments like this that were so powerful, but might have just rushed along the mystery of the story a little too much. Number 9. One of the scenes that really hit home
how
for
come
a
you're
lot of
working
Potter
here
fans
instead of
was the
how
final farewell from Aunt Petunia in Deathly Hallows Part 1, and she wasn't in the dark on this one.
To tell you the truth,
Harry and his friends begin the perilous hunt for the Horcruxes, but must keep their close ones out of it. Not saying the Dursleys were the most important people on Potter's mind, but his selflessness wouldn't have wanted them hurt. Instead of just rushing them out, Aunt Petunia had one last conversation with Harry that really moved us.
I lost a sister.
For the first time, she had an actual moment where we could really sympathize with the pain she felt once Lily Potter passed away. The final cut of both Deathly Hallows movies never gave her character an actual human moment, and gave her a little reason as to why she was always so bitter about the magical world. Number 10. Filmmakers just really didn't see the point in redeeming any of the Dursleys in the final films, but a little love from Big D would have gone a long way to us.
I don't think you're a waste of space.
You're welcome.
Not mentioning the constant bullying Dudley did on Harry for years, this moment between him and Harry even moved
I can
the
see a
chosen
camera
one.
toe.
This one tied up a resent for Harry's childhood, and finally showed an actual sincere moment from Dudley.
See you, Big D.
Number 11. The Weasleys, on the other hand, have always deserved the best care and love from the wizarding world.
You sure you're alright, Harry? Gave us quite a turn.
When Harry and Ron break into the Ministry of Magic in their disguises, they actually were supposed to run into Arthur Weasley. Even in this moment, he still offers his help to Ron's poor character and family, only to be shocked when Harry breaks his disguise to warn Arthur of an impending assassination by Death Eaters.
You know you're being tracked, don't you?
This scene was pretty intense and even added the lovely awkwardness that Ron felt, knowing that if his father found out who he was, he'd probably ground him. It's a shame we didn't get to see this on the big screen, but all that matters is that he was protected in the end. Number 12. There was a little controversy surrounding the sudden and forced romance between Ron and Hermione in the films, but filmmakers could have actually achieved it the right way in Deathly Hallows Part 1. We would have gotten a scene where Ron teaches Hermione how to skip stones, giving them a very romantically charged moment.
So I'm back.
If they added more scenes like this, don't you think it would have made more sense? Number 13. They should have known Grip Hook was no good, but they were actually kind of warned before making that deal with him.
He won't be forgiving.
In fact, this scene shows Bill Weasley giving a stern warning to Harry about making a deal with the banker, Grip Hook, really creating a tense foreshadowing moment that would lies. There was no moment in the final battle that we actually got to see them embrace each other for the last time. Not in the final cut, at least. Tonks wasn't even supposed to fight alongside her husband, but she couldn't stand by as the weight of the rope hung in the balance. They both gave each other a heartfelt embrace that would have reverberated in our hearts till the very end. Wish they would have kept this scene in.
I'm gonna put them off now, okay? I just wanna show the cameras I am really your mom.
Number 15. In this last entry, we saved the best for
There
last,
we are,
and we are not happy this one was left out.
Can I sit down, baby?
Our truly favorite Draco was destined to redeem himself in the end, and throw Harry Potter the wand that would destroy the evil forces. They should have never denied us this moment of Draco's redemption, but unfortunately things went a drastically different way. Shame we couldn't get the big redemption we dreamed of from a Malfoy. But all's well that ends well, we guess. It's quite a shame that we didn't get to see some of these deleted moments in the final cut. We would have seen a lot of loose ends tied up from some of Harry's best friends, and...
Yep. But it's alive. Human to damn. Yes, they're so complicated. And fussy. But they are humans for a reason.
And in completely empty
fully built sets and in completely empty rooms. The final 2 Harry Potter films created surprising practical effects, had people substitute for magical creatures, and disguised any evidence that could give away the fact that much of what we ended up seeing wasn't real at all.
Just working on it, I get excited, being like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what this looks like.
Which professor is that? Charity Burbage didn't have an easy time in the films, only actually making an appearance briefly at the end of the whole saga. Filming in the castle, the actress was replaced by a big red X. Her filming time was spent quite literally floating upside down in a green room. Honestly, far from ideal in both cases.
Baby son.
How many
Can
Potters
you
does it take
gag
to
me
screw
and
in a
choke
light
me?
bulb? Who knows, but
Sure.
it takes a lot of different actors on a set to bring them all to life.
You're welcome, Mum.
Each actor had their face mapped out digitally, so the transformation into a Potter could be brought to life convincingly, and honestly,
So another
kind of
joint.
creepily. Cruising through London brought even more adventures in CG land, where much of the footage was created from scratch, so the team could capture all the mayhem they needed in a way that was safe for the actors involved.
What happened? Where are the others?
You'll want to run the other way. The Dementors are completely CG designed, and thank goodness, because we'd never want to run into one of those. Disturbing as they might be, the detail with which they were brought to life is impressive. They were built from the skeleton up, designed to move gracefully while looking deteriorated. If it weren't for the soul-sucking part, they might actually be kind of beautiful. McGonagall said it best.
Do your duty to our school!
The epic attack on Hogwarts only saw some characters actually being filmed. The Giants had their own time on the practical green screen bridge, and as for their facial expressions, all that was captured up close as reference for the CG. The statues and Dementors, they all got layered in after being animated by the VFX team. It opens at the close, Harry, floating above him on a wire instead of with wings, only to be removed in editing and replaced with the CG version, speedy wings and all, until Radcliffe gives it a kiss. As for when it does open, layers on layers bring that Infinity Stone to life. Ghosts get their own filming time. Kelly MacDonald and Radcliffe never really shared the stage, MacDonald filming her portion solo so the VFX team could give her a ghostly appearance. We doubt the green stick marker was a better scene partner than Radcliffe would have been, though. The Harry Potter actor shot his portion alone as well, with each actor's footage layered together, resulting in this haunting and intimate moment. Just how cold was that water? For the most part, this was the real deal. CG only being used to remove the rope wrapped around and pulling Radcliffe beneath the ice, and the extra bits of underwater details like the bubbles and motions.
How far do you
Throw
want
a cool
to go
filter on,
in you?
and they are set.
All the way in, baby son, daddy.
So baby queen.
Help you something.
On set,
Thanks.
it's terrifying, but in a different kind of way. Nagini is less intimidating when filming, but 2 green arms darting out to take Radcliffe down is still pretty shocking. The CG team worked on building their snake that was compiled of layers of design to make her look as realistic as possible. Wands at the ready. For the most part, we saw the magic really happen. Layers of light and glowing details brought the magic visually. The CG team really outdid themselves for a lot of these shots. And they made sure Mrs. Weasley was well lit for her big moment as well. No matter how big or small the spells were, the designers for the special effects made sure they fit into the world and that the backdrops in the scenes suited as well. The performers acted hard, but the wand action was all thanks to the VFX crew. Everyone joined for the attack on Hogwarts. A blank slate, 1 layer of film captured of people actually running, and then we bring in the Giants. They did a solo green screen filming session and were filmed closer up, so when the footage was combined, the proportions all made sense. This is a place of business, and total chaos. While parts of the set were built and some details included for the actors to work with, most of what we see is just the result of hours of work and inspiration from the CG team. Not a detail was overlooked. We can actually see each individual tile on the walls. For the actors, it was green screens galore. The studio ceiling wasn't nearly as magical or daunting as what we know the Ministry to be, though. Even the up-close bits had tons of CGI, and there was always a green screen in sight.
Who's that? Long story.
Even Snape knows not to mess with McGonagall. A green screen window, an empty space, and pristine but subtle CGI to start. The fabric-like sweeping away image was fully animated, layered, and blended with actual footage of Snape whipping himself away and out the window.
Do what you have to do. I'll secure the castle.
Number 13. Plunging underwater like this is an undertaking, but instead of flailing in the middle of the lake, they were in the studio with green screens in the background instead of mountains. It wasn't as pretty, but it was definitely a touch more comfortable.
And now everything just feels disconnected.
Number 14. Say It Ain't So. The trees were great. Okay, well, some of them. But the backdrop wasn't quite right. Green screen base, CG moody background, and giant floating gravestone? Yeah, much easier to let VFX take care of this magic. Fortunately, no caskets or Michael Gambons were harmed in the making of. When he's mad, you know it. Ray Fiennes got to act out his moment just to have everything but his face and torso removed because his flowing and floating body were added layer by layer by layer. One last layer of fog detailing and light CGI software.
It's obvious, isn't it? We have to talk to someone who's dead.
The room of requirement really can be anything. Hordes of stuff was piled and filmed, and